Hi guys, Miss Brown here. This is part two, or lesson two, for the week of May 4th. So this is a continuation of the lesson that we did on Monday and Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday. If you weren't able to complete that lesson yet, you're going to have to do that part first. It's posted on Google Classroom and there's a recording of it, so it will walk you through what to do, and then you can come back and do this one. So we started on Monday or Tuesday by reading an article that addressed both sides of the issue. Is binge watching TV a harmless pleasure or a harmful addiction? So there were two sides to each story, there were arguments for both sides, I should say. And yes, the Monday and Tuesday standards was reading informational text and getting evidence, and then today's standard is drawing evidence from an informational text to support a written analysis or interpretation. So you guys today are actually going to write something using the text from yesterday. So just a quick lesson overview, just so you know where we're going. You'll do a do now. We are going to review the parts of an argumentative paragraph. This skill is so important when you go on to high school and into college. I'll remind you of some transition words. A lot of you guys have gotten more and more advanced, so I want you to keep pushing yourself. If there is a time where you're not sure what type of transition word to use or if it makes sense, you can just flag it to me or even write a comment, and I can check it and help you there. And then the go part is where you do it yourself. You're going to go and do it. And then the last slide is just some additional support if you need it. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is what were some of the reasons used to show that on this side, binge watching TV is good? So I want you to think back to Monday or Tuesday. If you have to go back, you can go back. What were some of the reasons they said binge watching was good? If you can think of one or two reasons, you can write it here just to remind you of what we were talking about. And then what were some reasons to show that binge watching TV was bad? And you can just type some of the reasons that were given here. So you can pause and do that. Okay, so this slide looks a little bit more confusing than it actually is. So this is parts of an argumentative paragraph. Last year, you guys probably did CER, so making a claim, giving evidence, and then providing reasons. We're going to change it up a little bit this year because we found that kids actually were scoring higher points on MCAS if you guys put the reasons first. So similar format, we're just changing the order. Your first sentence should either be a little bit of background, but you always have to have a strong claim. So a strong sentence taking a strong and clear position in the argument. So for example, in this situation, binge watching is harmful for society, or binge watching is harmless or does not pose any risks to society. Then you want to give a reason. You should have more than one reason. So we're going to start with your first reason. It's a sentence that clearly states why you think what you do. What is your reason for, or your first reason for making your claim? Then you provide evidence using direct quotes from the text. This is just when you say in the article it states, comma, quote, and you copy exactly what you have highlighted in the text, okay? This evidence should connect to your reason. And if you want to go on and explain how that evidence connects, then you can do that, right? Then you can give another reason and you provide evidence to support it. Then you can give another reason and you can provide evidence to support it. So the more reasons you have, the better, okay? After you do that, then you want to, especially when you're debating or making an argument, you want to acknowledge the other side. What does the other side of the argument say? Okay? And then you want to explain why they are wrong. Okay? So you explain why their argument is a bad argument, or why your argument is better. And then finally, as with everything, you want to have a conclusion sentence that essentially restates your claim in a new way. Okay? So here's an example that I wrote. What I want you guys to do now is I want you to go through and highlight in each of these colors each of the parts of an argumentative paragraph, okay? So I will start, for example, I'm going to highlight the claim. Binge watching TV leads to mental health challenges, serious physical health challenges, and can make a show less fulfilling overall. So my claim, I actually put the 3 reasons right in the claim. It leads to mental health challenges, it leads to serious physical health challenges, and it can make the show less fulfilling overall. Those are my 3 reasons that I'm going to go on and explain. So I'm going to take this. Here's my claim. I'm going to highlight it in red. Okay. First, binge watching TV can lead to serious mental health challenges. This is a reason, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to highlight it in orange up here, the little highlight color. People who binge watch TV may become depressed and lonely. So this is kind of like an explanation of my reason. So I'm going to highlight that in orange because it still connects to a reason. In the article, the author writes, rather than relieving stress, binge watching actually worsens stressful feelings like regret, guilt, and personal failure. These feelings were tied to a sense of wasted time and inactivity. So there's my quote or my evidence. I'm going to highlight that in green. You guys should be doing this as well. Clearly, these are negative feelings. So this is also a reason, right? So I'm explaining. Those are my words. Some people might say that binge watching strengthens relationships. So now I'm acknowledging the other side. So I'm going to highlight that in blue. While this may be true in some cases, in other cases it makes people feel isolated and lonely because they are only connected with their TV. So this is the part where I'm explaining why this is wrong, right? I'm going to highlight that in purple. And then the conclusion sentence, without a doubt, binge watching TV is a bad habit to get into. So again, let me redo that. So here's my conclusion sentence. I'm going to highlight that in pink. Okay? So I just identified all the parts of an argumentative paragraph. I have my claim, I have one reason and some evidence, another explaining it further. I have an acknowledgement of the other side. I have why it's wrong, why that side is wrong, and I have a conclusion sentence. Okay? Just as a reminder, because you guys have 3 reasons in your graphic organizer from Monday or Tuesday, you should have 3 reasons and 3 pieces of evidence here, okay? All right. So, transition words. When you are writing, you'll notice that I threw in some transition words in here. They're bolded, right? First, clearly, without a doubt. These are all transition words that you can use. So if you're introducing examples, right, you could say, for example, or for instance. If you wanted to explain a piece of evidence, you could say, in other words, comma, and then you explain the piece of evidence, right? An example of this is in the article, comma, blah, 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 right? Writing lists in sequence. If you're listing reasons, you could say first, second, third, another, in addition. You could start with to begin with. You could say additionally, moreover, next. To introduce an alternative point of view. So I could have said, by contrast, some people say that binge watching TV is good, right? Or you could say, alternatively, some people think binge watching TV is good. Or you could say, on the other hand, some argue that binge watching TV is good, right? So these are all ways to introduce the other side. Let me move to the next one. Again, putting the same idea in a different way. If you wanted to re-explain the evidence, you could use any of these transition words. If you wanted to add to a point already made, so maybe you gave a reason, but you want to add on to that reason, you could use any of these words. And then if you want to emphasize your earlier point of view, you can use any of these. If you're not sure of which one to use, let me know and I can help you, or you can just highlight it for me and say, did I use this correctly? And I can give you some feedback that way. Okay. All right. So if you want to make life a little bit easier for yourself, you can copy and paste whatever side you've decided to argue right here from lesson 1. You can just copy and paste the graphic organizer right here so you don't have to go back and forth. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And then here, you can actually start writing your paragraph. So you have an example up here, right? The first thing you need to do is write a claim. You highlighted a claim here. Then you have your reasons, your evidence, your acknowledgement, why they're wrong, and then you have a conclusion sentence, okay? So you can write your paragraph here. Don't forget, you should have 3 reasons. I'll write it right in here. 3 reasons and 3 pieces of evidence. If you need a little bit more support and you feel like you're stuck, here's the format that you can use. These are basically sentence starters to help you. Most of you should not need to use them, or you may need to use 1 or 2 of them. But I want you to push yourself, and I want you to try to look at the example and then get creative with your own writing and making a point. Okay. All right. The most important thing when you are done, you have to either hit turn in or submit. That's the only way I'm going to know that you completed it. It is so, so, so important. Okay. Next week, we'll probably look at either transition words or sentence structure, depending on your feedback from from this week's lesson. If we liked this lesson, we can do another argumentative writing assignment on a different topic, or we can work on kind of the more mechanical side of writing, like how to use transitions the right way, or how to make sentences a little bit more complex, if you're interested in doing stuff like that. Okay? I will see you guys. I will see you guys on Friday for if I have you for advisory, I'll see you then. And then we also have that student of the 7th grade social, which is like our assembly. And that is happening on Friday at, I forget. I don't remember. I'll get back to you on that. All right, see you later.